It had been 5 years since Alex last saw Mia, 5 years since their passionate, tumultuous affair had ended. He remembered the heartbreak, the guilt that had gnawed at him. He had loved Sarah, his fiancée, even then. Ending things with Mia was the right thing to do. It was the only thing to do. He had tried to forget Mia, to bury that part of his life. It had been relatively easy. Life had a way of moving forward, especially with Sarah by his side. The memories of Mia faded into distant echoes. They became shadows in the back of his mind, until now. One afternoon, a familiar figure stood at his doorstep. Mia. His heart stuttered. Her eyes were red-rimmed, her face etched with a pain he hadn't seen before. The years had treated her kindly, but there was a fragility about her that he hadn't remembered. She held a manila envelope in her trembling hand. "Alex," she began, her voice barely above a whisper, "this is why I'm here." Meeting Sarah had been a breath of fresh air. Their connection was instant, their love a slow, steady burn. She was everything Mia wasn't, kind, compassionate and understanding. She grounded him, gave him a sense of belonging he never knew he craved. He built a life with Sarah, a life filled with laughter, shared dreams and the promise of forever. They moved into a cozy little house with a porch swing and a garden. They adopted a scruffy mutt named Charlie. Life was good, simple, perfect. Their upcoming wedding was a testament to their love, a celebration of their commitment. He had never been happier. The dark clouds of his past with Mia seemed to have dissipated entirely. Or so he thought. The manila envelope contained medical records, a birth certificate. A name leapt out at him, Emily, his Emily. According to the dates, Emily was 4 years old. Mia explained that she had been hesitant to contact him, but that Emily deserved to know her father. Alex felt the blood drain from his face. A child? His child? Panic surged through him, choking him. He stared at the documents, each word a hammer blow to his carefully constructed reality. The life he had built with Sarah, the future they planned, it was all teetering on the precipice of collapse. Mia looked at him, her eyes pleading. "I'm not asking for anything for myself, Alex. She needs to know you. Please." Alex agreed to a DNA test, but fear had taken root in his heart. The possibility of his secret coming to light, of shattering Sarah's trust, was unbearable. He couldn't lose her, not Sarah, not his life. In a moment of desperation, fueled by fear and guilt, he hatched a plan. A deceitful, terrible plan. He tampered with the DNA test. He justified it as protecting Sarah, protecting their future. He told himself it was a temporary measure, a way to buy himself time to figure things out. But deep down, he knew he was merely delaying the inevitable. And the guilt was a heavy weight, a constant reminder of his betrayal. The weeks that followed were agonizing. Alex was living a lie, the weight of his secret a crushing burden. His once carefree demeanor was replaced with a forced cheerfulness that fooled no one, least of all Sarah. She noticed the change in him, the distant look in his eyes, the way he flinched whenever the phone rang. Their conversations became strained, punctuated by awkward silences and unspoken questions. The tension in their home was palpable, a suffocating cloud that threatened to consume them both. "Alex," Sarah asked one evening, her voice soft but laced with concern, "what's going on? You've been so distant lately. Please talk to me." He wanted to tell her everything, to confess and beg for her forgiveness, but the words wouldn't come. The fear of losing her was paralyzing. Sleep offered no escape. Nightmares plagued him, visions of his two lives colliding. In his dreams, Sarah somehow always found out, her heartbroken face a constant accusation. He would wake up in a cold sweat, his heart pounding against his ribs like a frantic bird trapped in a cage. The guilt was relentless, eating away at him from the inside out. He had built his relationship with Sarah on a foundation of honesty and trust, and now he was shattering it piece by piece. Every lie he told, every secret he kept, chipped away at his soul, leaving him feeling hollow and unworthy. He tried to focus on the wedding plans, hoping to recapture the joy they had once shared. But it was no use. The joy was gone, replaced by a dull ache in his chest. One day, a picture arrived in the mail. It was Emily. She had her mother's eyes and his smile. The sight of her innocent face, the realization that she was out there, a part of him living without him, was a punch to the gut. He felt a surge of longing, a paternal instinct he hadn't known he possessed. He wanted to know her, to be a part of her life, but at what cost? He was trapped in a web of his own making, and the more he struggled, the more entangled he became. That night, as he held Sarah in his arms, her warmth a stark contrast to the icy knot in his stomach, he knew he couldn't keep living like this. He had to tell her the truth. The words tumbled out of him, a torrent of confessions and regrets. He told her everything, about Mia, the affair, the child, the lie. He held nothing back, baring his soul to her with a vulnerability he had never shown anyone before. Sarah listened in stunned silence, her face pale, her eyes wide with a mixture of hurt and disbelief. When he was finished, she gently pulled away from him, her touch leaving a searing brand on his skin. "How could you?" she whispered, her voice trembling. There were no excuses, no justifications he could offer that would erase the pain in her eyes. He had betrayed her trust, shattered their love. And as much as it pained him to admit it, he knew he deserved her anger, her disappointment. The days that followed were a blur of tearful conversations, painful confrontations and agonizing goodbyes. Sarah, heartbroken and furious, asked him to leave. He couldn't blame her. He had destroyed everything they had built together. As he packed his bags, a wave of nausea washed over him. The realization that he had lost Sarah, the woman he loved more than life itself, was almost unbearable. But in the depths of his despair, he knew he had to make things right. He had to face the consequences of his actions. He sought professional help, desperate to understand the choices he had made and to find a path to redemption. The therapist listened patiently as he poured out his heart, offering guidance and support without judgment. The journey to redemption was long and arduous, but Alex was determined to become a better man, a man worthy of love and forgiveness. He reached out to Mia, confessing his deceit and expressing his desire to be a part of Emily's life. To his relief, she was understanding, offering him a second chance. He began spending time with Emily, navigating the challenges of being a father with a mix of trepidation and overwhelming love. He cherished every moment, every giggle, every hug. Emily, with her infectious laughter and boundless energy, became a source of healing, a constant reminder that even from the ashes of mistakes, something beautiful could grow. As for Sarah, he never stopped loving her. He knew he might never earn her forgiveness, but he hoped that one day she would see he was a changed man, a man who had learned from his mistakes and emerged from the darkness stronger and more compassionate. The road ahead was uncertain, but Alex faced it with newfound courage and a heart filled with hope. He had lost so much, but he had also gained something invaluable: the chance to be a better father, a better man, and ultimately the architect of his own redemption.